So so this is Jonathan Polanski. My name is John Garfield. So we did a coaching session and got some things, figured out for scaling lean. We just wanted to spend some time talking about that this morning. So thanks for being on this, Jonathan. I appreciate it. So full disclosure, I am a client of Scaling Lean. And I was attracted to Jonathan and Nina because of you know, first of all, the tangible things they offer for marketing, and then two, just the level of integrity that they carry. That they're like in marketing, it's kind of hard to find, real people occasionally. But these guys are real people, so I appreciate that. Um, so just is that showing up okay, Jonathan? Just
Yep.
just a picture of Jonathan and Nina. And I want to start out with just talking about a few of the tangible advantages because one thing that happened when we were going through this was we stumbled onto this graphic of practical things on the right-hand side and putting the kingdom first and sort of the spiritual side on the left-hand side. And one of the fundamental things Jonathan carries is this ability to be a bridge between those two. And that doesn't mean everybody's ready for spiritual stuff. But, you know, I think it does mean for on the, if you do grasp the spiritual side, you still got to do the practical stuff. There's no getting around that. You can't get around the need for cash flow.
Mm.
So when we go back to this, what Jonathan and Nina do, I mentioned for start just to get the ball rolling, automated marketing funnels done for you and go high level. So give me some more bullets, Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, uh, we are definitely a purpose-driven business that's built around building culture around what you're truly here for, right?
Yeah,
Um, we love connecting intimately with all of our clients, so we don't really have like a mass enrollment system, right? Like we keep things um, really close knit. So we usually manage about 6 new clients a month at most.
okay.
Um, and yeah, it keeps clients in our business for longer term instead of, a
Yeah,
turn and burn method like we've seen in other programs because we've invested quite a lot.
yeah.
Um,
So I have met and talked to Nina and also been at one of their workshops, and she's a big part of the equation. She's not on this call, but that is part of what makes scaling lean is Nina. So good job on that front. There, you also did. I already had Go High Level when I met you guys, but you guys are hosting it now, hosting that software for me now
mm,
as Conversion IO.
mm.
And you did help me do some videos um, in that funnel. So describe that process a little bit. One of the things I was really impressed with, Jonathan, is your skill level at navigating the mechanics of Go High Level and Facebook marketing, by the way, which is also kind of a swamp in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I was grateful that we got to work with you, John, because I know you did have your system up and running. But yeah, we have an onboarding team that really helps get our folks up to speed, right? And ultimately, what we focus on is really the pathway to becoming a buyer, right? So showcasing our authentic story, our brand, what we're about, our purpose statements, right? And it was
Uh-huh.
so great. I went through your purpose profile. It was definitely enlightening for me in this growth phase of my business because I mean, whenever you're growing, you need clarity. Like
Right.
any type of clarity is super helpful. I'm constantly like putting myself in rooms and around people that are more connected to their purpose because it ultimately allows me to get
Right.
more clear on where I'm headed, right? So
Right.
kind of took a little side road there, but with the software that we have, we're able to bridge the gap between just a person on social media or a local business in a brick and mortar, and really helping people understand to build the like, know, and trust so people
Mhm.
actually decide to buy from them, right? Because the average consumer today, they require, it's like proven over 21 touch points to convert into a buyer, right? So we focus on human-centric marketing, storytelling, and direct response copy to really help them move through that process. And we use processes very similar to you, John, with purpose, right? Like we always like to dig down and understand the people we work with, so it best serves not only them as the business owner, but also the people that are buying from them for the long term.
So when we looked at this graphic, when you mentioned purpose, I mean, in some ways, purpose is the bridge between, you know, putting the kingdom first. What does that mean for you? I mean, it's not generic for everybody. It's specific for you. And sort of what I saw that you carry is that in the marketing world is that most people are marketing the mechanics. Our marketing can help you make more money and more sales and get more customers, more clients. That's simple as that.
Mhm.
But helping them articulate their message in terms of their kingdom purpose and sort of embedding that motivational um, juice into what they say about their offer is the real genius. So when we were working together, we kind of worked our way through this purpose profile is what I'll share, and we did some aspirations on that. And then we did this new me graphic, which we really did a roadmap. And so I'll show you that in a minute. We still have your story to do yet, sort of how all this purpose stuff, you know, fits in a business application. But back to purpose profile. This was Jonathan's. So summarize that for me in 2 minutes. And
Man,
then
that was
purpose statement in the middle and sort of, chased where all that went.
yeah, again, like heightened clarity. And what I love so much about the purpose profile, John, was how you really um, brought forward the way of inquiring about questions that you have about where you are in your journey, right? Because um, my entrepreneurship journey personally it's been pretty clear, and I've understood that I've always wanted to lead with my soul and be a heart-led entrepreneur and, you know, really be for the people, serving the people, right? And God has always been with me on that journey. But I loved how you brought into like really inquire and ask those questions to Father to really get that information back and get that heightened level of clarity. So yeah, like really what we unlocked um, during my 4 to 6 week program, I think we were closer to 6 with me, if I recall, because you did do over and above, was just really helping people, just being the guiding light more for people, right? And helping them dig down and ask those hard questions and overcome the resistances that they're facing in their day-to-day life and helping them overcome those obstacles and connect with their purpose and their community and giving them a place where they can come and be heard and seen, to
Yeah.
develop, as it says there, develop their generational legacy. Um, so yeah, that was really, really awesome, that whole statement. And for those of you who haven't been through the purpose profile, the way I went through it personally is we ultimately came up with a version one. It was like a rough draft of the center. And then we started filling out each, I guess you'd call it wing, right? And as we
Hmm.
began to meet week over week and ask and inquire about things, we just got heightened awareness, right? So then it allowed us to go back and iterate small things and just touch up the way things kind of felt and were visualized. And at the outset, it was just super clear on really the foundation of me as a person and the business as a whole, right? It was really awesome, John. Like it really
Well,
connected
what I
all the
noticed
dots.
in the conversations is when we were trying to come up with these phrases or your purpose statement, enlighten people to find their value because they're confident in their voice and speak their message. so that people overcome resistance, get breakthrough, and connect to the purpose, solutions, and community.
Mm.
Um, we went through lots of iterations to get to that, but the language we started to use in coming up with all these other things, as well as your central purpose, was that whether or not it had juice on it for you. So sometimes you could articulate the phrase, and sometimes I did it, but the way we judged it was, did it have any juice on it for either one of us? And it's like we were really trying to get God to help us, articulate who Jonathan really is. And that is sort of how we did it. We judged each one of those 16 areas by whether it resonated with you. Did it excite you? Do you feel a sense of ownership about it? You mentioned one other thing that I'll flip to this graphic, just the fact that people go through valleys, I think was the term you used. And we made up this graphic about, people start with, in marketing or business, they're worried about making money and their business plan, that's kind of where it starts. And most people go through some kind of a valley before
Yeah.
they, get it right. And getting it right usually has to do with, finding their cause that, makes their business, you know, resonate with other people. And we use the purpose profile to get to that higher purpose. And, you know, having that conversation with God and, maintaining that level of relationship was the key. So that's what people are going through. And this was back to this thing, helping people get clear on, what is their kingdom purpose? What is the spiritual dynamic that makes the business work is one piece. And then being able to bridge that into practical things like, you know, a marketing funnel and go high level is very practical. How do you, the, the, the key is, can we get the sort of the prophetic message of what drives that business in terms of purpose into the mechanics of go high level software and the funnel itself, into the
Mm.
video, into the copy, all that.
Absolutely. And if you could just flip back to that one page, I just wanted to reflect on this a little bit because this really did help a lot, John, with the purpose profile. Um, so what I learned in my entrepreneurship journey is I wasn't super certain in my purpose early on, and by all means, I'm still on the journey, right? No one, I don't,
Yeah, it
some people
keeps
may never
changing.
arrive at it, right? Their whole life,
Yeah.
but um, what I found in my journey is without a purpose, I want to go deeper on this concept because I loved how you brought it forward. Um, think of it like uh, a high mountain and then a valley and then a high mountain. And we start on this high mountain on the left, or if you're watching, maybe it's on the right. And we have this great idea of becoming an entrepreneur. Maybe we're at our 9 to 5 job. Maybe we've had a business and we want to start a new business. We have this great idea and we seek that opportunity, and we begin to go on that journey. And as we go on that journey, we kind of sputter out and die out because the idea isn't as fun and new anymore, right? We learn, oh, it's going to be harder because of this bottleneck, or
Right.
I have to work on sales, or I need to figure out how to be a graphic designer, or I have to figure out marketing, or I have to figure out tech. And as entrepreneurs, like we're not masters at everything, but what we are really good at is solving problems, right? And listening. I think that those are two big things amongst many others. But without the purpose, what ultimately happens is you start on this high mountain, you learn all these tactics and strategies, and you ascend into the valley, and it gets tough, right? And without, if you decide to let it get to you and not be certain in your purpose and know how to inquire and ask the right questions and face resistance and face your fears, what ultimately happens is you wind up looping back to the high mountain and seeking a new opportunity. And then
Yeah.
you're on this endless cycle of shiny
Going
object,
nowhere.
right? You're just constantly chasing new strategies and new tactics. But with
Yeah.
a purpose, you are able to weather that storm and you're
Yeah.
able to run through the desert into the rain like the buffalo. And
Yeah.
you're able to ask the hard questions and inquire and download the things you need and see the things. And it's going to take longer than you expect in most cases, but the things you're going to learn along those journeys are going to take you to far bigger heights than if you just keep looping in those tactics, right?
Yep.
And that's ultimately why I see the purpose profile to be so amazing, right? Because if you can nail that down, all the tactics and strategies don't matter anymore, right? Because you're on the journey for what is authentically aligned with yourself and what you're able to help your people through, whatever your creator, let's call it. I call it God, but um, through your creator in order to achieve that high mountain of
Yep.
success on the other side of that valley that you finally get to, right? And that's where all that's where you're able to donate to your causes and achieve all those deep-seated purposes that you're really truly here on this in
Yep.
this world for, right?
Yep. And I think the other dynamic that goes with anybody's purpose profile, from my perspective is I, it is sort of coaching, that's the way we market it, but it's what do you want to call it? Cheating coaching because we're trying to get God to help us.
Mhm.
And that that is part of the dynamics. We did get your purpose, but there was also movement on, your own ability to hear from God yourself. And I thought that was a powerful. That was what made this purpose profile thing work, is that you heard it yourself. It
Yeah.
wasn't just somebody handing you a recipe or a formula.
Yeah. Like one thing about the inquiry again, I'm on it because like that's really what I've been receiving is like when you ask a question and you're looking for that answer maybe or you're open to the answer of that question, right? That's when
Mhm.
miracles happen, right? Because you're able to be open to that miracle happening to you. But if you never ask the right question based around your true purpose and what where you're trying to get to, um, you may never find the miracle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with it, I think one of the keys, when you look at where are we at? This graphic, when you look at marrying these two halves of any business, what this bridge, isn't just Jonathan. It's, how do we get God to show up in the practical stuff? Right? And the simplest answer is we need to leverage the business for what he's doing, sort of co-labor with what he's doing. And when I was down there, one thing I noticed was that you've got a marketing business, you've got clients, you had a group of people there that were interested in your product. It was all good. But as I got to talking with you, there's something happening in Phoenix in sort of the business slash marketing community of, a wider group of maybe 50 or 100 or several hundred people. And we met a couple of those people. And so the dynamic of what's happening in scaling lean is one level, but there's a sister to that that's happening in Phoenix. And there's a sister to that that's happening in the United States. And sort of getting a bird's eye view of those different levels and stacking them I find exciting. I just find that really motivating.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of goes back to the miracle, John. Like when you're grounded and you see that vision, that's when you attract people and things that
Yep.
will help you on your journey, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't always have to be based around money. It's also based around community and positive energy and like-minded people, right? Find those 5 to 10 people that are going to help carry you. And through your
Yep.
purpose profile, you'll have the conviction to speak out what you truly want, right? There's so
Yeah.
many people in the world today that are just people pleasing and not really going after what they truly want that's authentically aligned with themselves, right?
Yeah.
Not to pass
And
judgment on anyone, but I used to be one of those people, you know?
yeah. And the secret handshake for that tribe is knowing one another's purpose. I mean, that's what, when we get to know one another's purpose, we feel seen, and for men it's a little more respect. But if there's women in the room, you can safely call it loving one another.
Mhm.
And that's, one of the parts of, in the church world, they call it ecclesia. It's the Greek word for church. But the community is always built around purpose, even in business. That the shared purpose, especially when it has a kingdom origin, really causes people to come together and do something great.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the pieces of the puzzle of building a great kingdom business, any business,
Yeah.
is what's the purpose behind it? And that can't be something we just pull out of a dark place. I mean, to work, it it needs to have an overlap with what God is doing. It's sort of that's how we build the bridge.
Mhm.
That's that's something you carry. I mean, marketing is the perfect place to bridge it because you can integrate it into the copy, into the funnels, into the the relationships, the whole 9 yards. So that's what I'm excited about, scaling lean. I mean, that's still unfolding. I'm not trying to corner you into something that you're not doing, but I just see that, very clearly in what you carry, and as well as Nina.
Mhm.
Anything else? I don't know. I lost track. I had to use my phone to for the video this morning, and I don't have any sense of time. So, are we about up at our 30 minutes?
Yeah, we're about there, John. Yeah, I'll just put like a little referral here on the top at the end, man. Like I do highly suggest doing like what you have to offer here, man. It was super enlightening for me, right? Really, no matter where you're at, right? We're multiple six figures a year here at Scaling Lean, but I see this being ultra beneficial for even a brand new entrepreneur or someone that's even working a 9 to 5, right? Getting super clear on where you're going is going to benefit not only you, but your family, your community. um, it's been something that I've been studying for years, honestly. And when I went through your purpose profile, it was a different dimension than what I had seen, and it definitely gave me clarity on multiple different angles on in business and personal. So definitely, definitely, highly recommend it, man. Good
Yeah.
stuff. You're on fire with that.
Yeah, and I think the thing I like about it is, we have a relationship that doesn't have a deadline, and we'll stay in touch for years to come and probably work together as well.
Yeah, and you got some ultra successful people in your program too, with Tove and everything, right? So that's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for doing this, Jonathan. Appreciate it.
absolutely. Thanks for having me.